today I'm going to tell you what school's like in Switzerland in Corona times. I know that all my friends in America have been doing homeschooling for years since March, but in Switzerland, you don't have homeschooling anymore. I know you guys might be nervous going to school in these dark times, but I'm going to tell you some tips on how it is actually like to be in Switzerland schools. In Switzerland, we've been going to in-person school since May 2020. So when the pandemic first started in March 2020, we had to do online learning for like 2 months. So in May 2020, we went into like 50-50. So in one day, half the time you're inside your own home learning on your computer, and then the other half you're inside the school. They split the classroom into two halves, the class. Around the middle of June, we went back to 100% in-person learning. It hasn't changed since that. So the answer to that question is yes, we do have to wear masks. We have been doing it for like around 3 months or so, maybe less. And it's pretty annoying because they have like a lunch schedule. So like at 12 o'clock, some kids stay in the classroom and eat at specific time groups because they can't mix them all together, because when you're eating, you have to take your mask off, of course. So why are we doing all this? So they have these groups. When we went back to school in May, the kids didn't have to wear masks, only the adults. Except the adults weren't very strict on themselves. They would just take a 1 meter ruler, stick it out. If it's not touching you, he can take off his mask, which is totally illogical. So right now I'm in the 5th grade, 5. class in the primary school. Everybody above the 4th grade has to wear a mask inside and outside. So just because it's break doesn't mean you can pull off that mask and start spreading the COVID. So my brother Jalen, he's in the 8th grade, the secondary school. That means he has to have been wearing a mask since September, which is even longer than me. That's why he was happy when the new rule made that I had to wear a mask. One of the number one big differences since Corona is that the Swiss don't shake their hands anymore. Back then, every day when you go into the classroom, you would shake the hands with the teacher saying good morning or Grüezi, like the more polite way, because the Swiss people are very serious about politeness. As soon as Corona started, we did do handshakes, but like elbows, and then we stopped that too because it can still spread around the air. Also, for a while, we couldn't play any woodwind instruments or blowing instruments. I played the clarinet, like the whole band is playing with blowing instruments. So basically, the whole band cannot play any instruments, and they could only do it at home. In sport, we kind of changed it, but the rules are strict. Like, one of the stupidest things I said is that even though in the gym it says sports that do not have contact and can be played in the gym, and one of them is football, even though there's a lot of contact in football because it's very European, even though I guess some of it is all flopping when there's no contact. So in conclusion, football or football in American English soccer is not considered a contact sport, so technically we're allowed to play in the gym. So do we social distance school? Nope, there's no rules. Oh, I thought it was a good idea if my brother Jan would explain how his lunch situation is in his secondary school class.
Well, during lunchtime, we actually have plexiglass in between us, and on a table that used to sit 6 people, they actually make it so only 4 people can sit there, so then there's more space in between each person. But I find it really annoying because you can't hear what other people are saying because they're sitting across from you and there's like plexiglass. And also when you go get your food, you have to wear a mask.
If you didn't understand what Jalen said about the lunch situation with the food serving, well, in Switzerland, it's basically as if you're at a buffet. You go get your plate, you put your food on your plate, so you serve yourself.
But now, the teachers actually serve us, so we give them the plate. They're actually across from us from more plexiglass. We give them the plate, and then they ask us if we want this, and then we say yes, and then we go along the line.
So in my class is the worst class of our school in COVID-wise because 2 of my kids have gotten COVID in my class before. So it was once this one kid, his brother got COVID, he took a test, spread it to another kid, also got COVID, so that's 2 kids with COVID, and then we have to go in quarantine for 10 days. For clarification, it was only our class that went into quarantine, which is at like 20 kids. And then we all brought our tablet from school that everyone gets in the 5th grade so we could do Zoom calls. I thought it would be like really chill being at home, just having to get all this stuff done in a week. But no, you have to get up early, get on the computer and go on Zoom. And there was also some miscommunications on Zoom about which time you have to go on. Is it 7:45 or 7:54? So that kind of stuff.
In my class, only 1 kid had corona, and that was actually pretty recent. It didn't affect us really, and we actually all got an email, but it didn't say who it was. But when they came back, they told us it was them.
I'm pretty sure the rule is that if you get 2 kids in your class that have COVID, then they have to go into quarantine. So to me, I feel pretty chill at school because I feel like all this corona stuff with all of my classmates is all over with. Now we're all wearing masks. There's not that much more to worry about.
So for me, I think school's kind of normal. I don't feel extra scared or nervous. But I don't really know that much because I only went to normal secondary school for a couple of weeks before we had to do lockdown.
So if you were to ask me what I would prefer, in-person learning or virtual learning, I'd say in-person learning because it's especially different that I'm in a country with a foreign language speaking German, so sometimes I need to clarify stuff, but it's not very efficient via email. So when I'm in a class, I could just raise my hand like this, and then the teacher will come over, and then I can ask him a question.
I prefer in-person learning. That's also for the same reasons as Max, because of the language, because sometimes I need help, I don't understand a couple of words, or it's not clear, sometimes things are lost in translation. But I thought it was also kind of fun being able to wake up a little later, being able to control your schedule.
So what's your advice for someone who is about to go back to school after being homeschooled for a year?
Don't be a jerk about a mask, and make sure that mask is over your nose, because it's so annoying seeing those people. I hope this video was helpful, especially if you're going to school in person soon. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe bell ding. See you next time. Bye.